Hello and welcome to Dreamers Reviews. I'm your girl Dreamer and I'm here to review. So today we're going to review a Tubi movie called Gunplay. That's right, it's called Gunplay. So this movie is directed by Casey Carson and it stars Donald Brumfield Jr. That's right, the one from Black Ink Chicago. Once again, the hottie with the body. Yes. And it also stars Denzel Dandridge, love that name, and Leah Envy, okay? So let's get started on the review. Also, it's a full breakdown, so there will be some spoilers, just to give you a heads up. All right, here we go. So the movie starts off where the husband and wife has decided to move their family to a better neighborhood. I guess they wanted a better school district and a better upbringing for their children. They have two children who are in high school age children. Real quick, I have to say the casting choice for the children, I don't understand where their mind was with that, because the kids actually looked older than the parents did. That's right. They should have switched places with the mom and the daughter because they looked in complete opposite of each other. But I digress. So once again, the husband and wife moved their kids to a different neighborhood, and the wife is telling the husband, hey, Junior has a game. You need to go to his game. You need to start showing more support, being there for the children and all this kind of stuff. And the husband is like, yeah, he's okay. But he's booked and busy because he's a businessman. So, but she's trying to encourage him to be there. The son really wants him to be there, but he tells the son, I'm going to try to make it. I'm not sure if I can. Then the next thing we see is the son leaving the basketball game. The game is over, and a couple of his friends come in from the old neighborhood, and they're like, yo, you did good. They're giving him props. They're shaking his hand. They're like, yeah, you did good. And they're like, come on, let's go ahead and let's go party. And he's telling them, sorry, I can't go party with you guys. I have to party with my new teammates. And the friends are kind of like thrown off, like, what? Wait. So would you pushing us to the side? And he's like, nah, it's not like that, Mom. You guys can come and hang with us, but I need to go, spend some time with my teammates. And they not feeling it or whatever, so they just keep it pushing and push on. So the daughter's making friends, and she becomes close friends with her brother's girlfriend's sister. So they're becoming real cool, and she starts telling the friend about a little bit of her family history, how her dad, is really into guns, and how he took them, take that part out, how he's really into lollipops on this channel in place of we say lollipops. So how he's really into lollipops and how he's trained them on every type of lollipop and everything in between, and how, her brother are more than proficient in using them. And so the friend is just like, oh, okay, dang, well, that's wild, but all right, I hear you, sis. So the next scene, you see the father is, saying they're all back at home, and they're leaving for work. Now, the mother's supposed to be a realtor, and the dad is supposed to be a businessman. So dad leaves, and he goes into this almost warehouse club type setting. And while he's in there, it's all these men sitting almost like at a round table or something like that, like Sir Lancelot in a round table, whatever. So they're all sitting around this table, and in the middle of the table is like a Charlie-esque type of situation where it's an intercom and a speaker, and some man is talking to them. And come to find out, the father, who's a businessman, is a gangster who's a part of an organization. Yeah. So as is a part of this organization, they're all coming in for the meeting. And during the meeting, the guy over the intercom says, yeah, I got some connects in the feds, and they told me that, bruh, your wife is a fed. So dude is like, oh, not my wife. Dude was like, yeah, your wife. So one of the other guys who's around the round table, he pipes up and he becomes Billy Bad behind, like, oh, man, you better do what you gotta do. We're gonna have to handle that, this and that. You gotta handle it, or I'm gonna handle it. And he like, yo, bro, you better pipe down. I'm the one who brought you in. You supposed to be my boy. And dude's like, well, this business. I don't care who brought me in. Business is business. I don't want this messing up my money. So dude was like, you know what? Okay, I got it. Don't worry about it. I'll handle my wife. I don't believe she's a fed. But if you say that, I'll go ahead and find out, get to the bottom of the situation. I'll handle it. And if so, I'll make sure that she throws the case out. Okay, so he goes home and his wife is there. The kids aren't there. It's just him and his wife, because she's like, okay, they went out for the night, and she's like sitting a little romantic dinner and everything, trying to get a little mood started or whatever. So he come home and he says to her, he like, so tell me, you really a fag? And so she like, what? She goes into this whole little shock situation, whatever. She like, a fag? Oh my goodness. And she's like, yeah, I'm a fed, and I'm trying to crack this gang, this organization, and I'm going to get them, and I'm not going to stop until I get them. He like, whoa, pump your brakes. I'm a part of that organization. Now, can I say, this is where it gets extremely unbelievable, because you're telling me you was with somebody for 20 to 18 years, right? And you don't know she a fed? And furthermore, Miss Fed, you don't know that he's a part of the organization that you're trying to crack. You don't know this dude a gangster. You don't know what he into. And you're a fed. And y'all been married or together for like 20-something years. That's where it gets a little unbelievable. I don't know if they were trying to pull some Mr. and Mrs. Smith type stuff or what. But it threw me off a little bit. Because I'm like, this is a bit much. A little bit far-fetched. But okay, if you say so. So he tells her, look, you're going to have to go ahead and slide on this whole situation. You're going to have to dead it. You're going to have to, get off the case, whatever you got to do, because my peoples know, and it's not about to be pretty because they know who you are, and they're going to end up coming for you and coming for us. So go ahead, kill the situation and just end it now. So she's like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead because I need to see every one of them in handcuffs, forgetting that her husband is one of them. But she's, Billy bad behind, and she's like piping up, saying what she going to do or whatever. And so he's like, nah, this ain't going to work. You need to go ahead and leave that situation alone. So they get in the car, and they're still going back and forth. As they're driving down the street, she looks in the mirror, and she says, it looked like somebody following us. So he looks, and he's like, yeah, those his people following him. Next thing you know, they pull out the lollipops and pop, pop, pop. Now, all of a sudden, she gets hit by a lollipop. And he's driving, and he bangs out into a tree. So, another weird situation, which, okay, so you pop her, he bangs out into a tree, and you don't come make sure you finish the job. That was like, okay, well, I guess. So, next thing you know is, the next scene, he wakes up in the hospital. So, as he's in the hospital, he goes ahead and has this woman who comes into the hospital room. The woman was supposed to be her best friend. Coming to find out, the best friend is her fed partner. Yes. So, the best friend comes in, and she's sitting here like, I gotta come in here. I'm so sorry to tell you this, but she didn't make it. And so he's like, what? Boom, 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 boom. All that kind of stuff. Like, all upset. That his wife didn't make it. Which, I mean, yeah, that would be a hurt piece or whatever. But she only got hit once in the side. He didn't even get a chance to see how serious the wound was or whatever. So they said the wife is dead. So now he's upset. Meanwhile, a guy comes into the hospital, and he's clearly a hitter. So he comes in, and another sidebar. So you guys couldn't finish the job there. You weren't bold enough to hop out the car and finish the job at the tree, but you're bold enough to send somebody in a hospital where you know it's going to be police presence and everything else because you just a fed. But you're willing to come in the hospital and do it? Okay. So they send somebody into the hospital. So they had a a fed guard at the hospital door. So the guy comes, see the fed guard, and the guard with the lollipop. So now the guard is laid out in front of the hospital room, just bleeding out. And he goes into the room. Now, the guy, he set his pillows up almost looking like he was there. So when the guy come up to him with the lollipop, they go ahead and he jumps out on the guy and they get to tussling. He yoke him up and in his neck. Yep, that's what he did. So now the guy is laid out. So he's like, oh no, I gotta go ahead and get my kids. I gotta get my kids because they, sending hitters out for my family. So he gets in touch with his daughter. He gets in touch with one of his friends from back in the day. So his friend like, whatever you need, bruh, I'm a rider. Let's go. So he gets in touch with his daughter and he says, yo, this was going on. You need to meet me. So the daughter's like, okay. She's like, but I can't get in touch with my brother. So the brother is kidnapped by the organization. The brother and his girlfriend, yes, they're kidnapped by the organization. So the sister is like, oh man, we got to find out where my brother is. The sister calls up the brother's old crew from back in the old neighborhood. And even though they was beefing with the brother, they like, oh no, we there, we about to ride. So the dad, another weird scene. Okay. The dad decides, okay, we got to find out where they took your brother and my son. So this is what we going to do. I'm going to send you 2 teenage girls into this adult club because I know these men are pregs and they going to go ahead and be okay with you 2 teenage girls coming up in here. I need you to hit on the adult club owner. Get him in the back room. And when he back there, let me in and we go ahead and handle that. This is the father's plan. So the daughter and the daughter's best friend, they get dressed up. They get all hoochie-fied, get dressed up, and they go up into this club. Okay? They got up in the club and they sit here flirting. And he's like, how old are you? She's like, oh yeah, I forgot what she was like, 16, 17, something like that. So he like, oh yeah, you look grown to me. Da-da-da. So he like, all right, let's go ahead and go to the back. They go to the back. And while he back there, she upped the lollipop on him. And she like, get down. So he's like, yo, wait, hold on. What's going on? So as she upped the lollipop, they end up letting the dad in. The dad come in with a couple, with his boy or whatever. And they go up in there and they ready to go ahead and regulate the situation. And so the dad is like, where my son? The dude like, I ain't telling you nothing. Well, the dad really applied the pressure. Next thing you know, the dude let it slip. Dad like, we don't even need him no more. So dad like, with the lollipop. That was the end of him. So after that situation, the dad go ahead and leave. Now the system here calling the guys like, yo, where y'all at? Meanwhile, on the other side of town where the son was at, the son trying to get his girl up out of the situation. He like, look, tell him you got to go to the bathroom. It should be a window in that bathroom. I'm going to need you to go ahead and sneak out. Because I can't handle my business with you here because something might happen to you. So the girl like, okay, baby. So she goes ahead and she says, please, I got to go to the bathroom. So she goes to the bathroom. She tries to get out, but the guy catches her that she's trying to get out. So he's like, oh, no. So he snatches her and he takes her back to the room. So as she goes back to the room, the dude who used to be the father's friend that the father helped get into the situation, well, he goes ahead and he's like, yeah, I don't care if I was your father's boy. Well, I'm just going to let you know right now, this is what we're going to do. I told y'all not to play with me. I told y'all don't do too much. Well, you did. So he pulled out the lollipop, put it to the girlfriend, and that was the end of her. Yeah, unfortunately, she seemed really cool. So the son, of course, he like distraught. Oh, boom, you killed my girl. Yeah, it was messy too. So he didn't do it to the son yet because he like, I'm waiting till your dad get here and let him watch. So the dad goes ahead and then he finds the warehouse. And here, lo and behold, the boys' peoples come. And they all roll up in there and they taking people out. Lollipops left and right. Pop, 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 all over the place. Everybody got a lollipop. And lollipops just flying all over the place. So next thing you know, the daughter and her best friend, another part that didn't make no sense. Okay, the daughter explained with her dad, how her dad showed her this and that. The best friend, girl, where all of a sudden you come from and you're like Rambo too. That part was really weird, because I'm like, okay, if that's what you say. If that's what you say. So the daughter goes ahead and she's, doing the same thing, and she's, Rambo all of a sudden, or Rambetta, and she's running through the place, and they doing the little movements and going around corners, and okay. So they get the son, they take out a couple people, they get the son, and next thing you know, the feds roll up on them as they're trying to get the people out. And the dad is like, yeah, we're not doing this right now. And he's like, no, y'all need to come back with me. The feds like, no, y'all got to come back with us right now. So they end up going back with the feds. As they're in the room being held, lo and behold, who comes rolling up in a wheelchair but his wife? That's right, his wife. She was never dead. Shocker. So he's like, you wasn't dead. You wasn't dead. You had me sitting here, flipping out, and you wasn't gone. And they're like, oh, we're so sorry. We had to tell you that for the time being. We wanted it to be, a secret, and, all this kind of stuff or whatever. So as he's up in there, he's telling them everything, because they like, the wife tells him, listen, my husband already told me all the information. I got the information. The husband's sitting there like, bruh, what you doing? So she tells them, it goes all the way to the top, that the mayor is the head person in charge. And they like, okay, well, we going after mayor. But the mayor goes ahead, pulls out a lollipop and himself before they even get to him. And that pretty much sums up the movie. As far as my opinion of the movie, some of the things just didn't make much sense to me. The acting, I want to say the two main actors were pretty decent. A lot of the other actors still, is much to be desired. But, it is a Tubi movie. It's free, so it's not bad on a rainy day when you don't have nothing to do, when you want to watch something, there ain't nothing much to watch. I would say give it a shot. But I would give it 2.5 lollipops out of 5. That's just my opinion. But thank you so much for watching my review. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.